Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Yes, I'm all alone. Shashwat is busy. Anand is in Tirchi, and I'm here in the studio. It's just you and me. So I will take all the beating that you're given in the comments and I'll try to answer them. One of the videos which I've got a lot of comments from you guys is the one where we spoke about Indian IT sector in trouble, AI disruption, job cut, and stock market opportunities. Explained. Yes, but you got to realize something. Me and Anand are not IT workers. We don't run software companies. We are investors. So our analysis and speculation is purely in the lens of a value investor. Though we are engineers, we are not software engineers like the folks who have mostly commented on this are. And we are not trying to say we are experts in how these things work. We are only trying to find value as retail investors and where we see value and whatever analysis they may be, as you may say, it's crude. In a 15-minute video, we can't dive into it in great depth and take it apart, of course. So we try and keep it light. I do understand if you find the content not deep enough. That's why I do encourage you to meet us when we do have those meetups so we can have longer discussions face to face when we do meet. Or you can even call me up and we can have a discussion longer when I do have those opportunities when I open up my phone lines. But that said, these comments are interesting. Of course, a lot of you have thanked us and we thank you for the support. And even the ones who are critical, I'm loving it because I love having these kinds of discussions and rebuttals. Of course, this is one way. You've written your comments, and it's been a few days since then I'm giving you my feedback. But we will try and keep it, like in the good old days when we used to write letters to each other. Write a letter and you have to read it. And then you have to write your angry reply back to me and send it. And I'll read it and I'll write it again. So it may take some time. So who knows, after this video, some of you might feel enthusiastic enough to write your comments on my rebuttal, and then Sadhu might say, why don't you do another one to follow on the follow-up? So who knows, this might lead to a beautiful relationship, at least through the videos. So that said, Falcon Music says, poor homework done in some of your comments on China ahead in 2017 and India delay. That wasn't me. It was actually in an article in the Financial Times where it had been mentioned that China had started seeing a roadmap in artificial intelligence way back in 2017, and the Chinese government had spent. The Chinese government is very different from the Indian government, and this has been laid bare in the advances they've made in not only AI, in technology as a whole. If you see their military powers and everything put together, we are a little behind. I don't want to immediately flare up national interest, and it's not a political channel. I don't want to get into an argument, but purely on comparison where China is right now technologically and where India is, we are a little behind. So we have to play catch up. They have been spending heavily on R&D in technology and in software and hardware and in AI, and you have to applaud them for that. They saw something we missed. It's not too late, like Anand said. Microsoft missed Google. Then they innovated and they brought in Satya Nadella and they reinvigorated themselves. And now they're right behind NVIDIA in terms of valuations, ahead of Google. So India does have an opportunity to move ahead and capture the gap which we are behind China. So that said, we have not been spending heavily on AI and AI R&D. We did miss that one. So I do hope that our private sector and public sector decides to wake up to this and start moving on this, because we have a younger generation coming into workforce, not only the Gen Zs, the ones behind that, the alphas, Gen Alphas, and we would like to create a sustainable industry for them to be employed and work and keep this country moving along. So I would love Falcon Music. What more did you wish to say? Because you've just dropped a line. So drop a few more lines, Falcon Music 173, and I'd love to hear what you think. Paris 9332 says, as a developer, what you said is accurate. I can confirm we didn't even exaggerate that. I can confirm you didn't even exaggerate. AI has been a key reason for the cut down at least half the workforce in IT industry in India. But as an investor, there's a flip side to it, because when an IT company adopts AI, and they're cutting down workforce, yes, as a person participating in the industry, it's terrible news. it's bad for you. But as an investor, you know, the flip of it might be it is good because operational costs are coming down, salaries are coming down, and thanks to AI, profit margins are still being maintained. Sales are being maintained. Overall performance is being optimized. So the bottom line earnings might improve. So there is a trade-off in this. So I'm not trying to say this is right or wrong. I'm just saying as an investor, you have to pay attention to these things. So there is a trade-off here. So that is what I'm trying to bring into the discussion. We have to evaluate these things, that prism in mind. Engineer Gurukulam says IT layoffs is not based on business always. Every employer has fixed and variable income. Even if the business drops by 50%, it is possible to retain employees by paying them only the fixed pay. The so-called HR and most top managers play with life of employees. The government should interfere and enact suitable laws to protect employees. Today, it's simple hire and fire strategy. I understand the frustration people are feeling in the IT sector, and yes, it has to be fair as far as employment is concerned and job security is concerned, because people need to have sustainable income, for people to live in society. So I understand what engineering Gurukulam says. It is a very complex problem, and unfortunately, I have no expertise in this, in public policies and how it should be done. And I do hear you. We are an investment channel, though. So from a pure point of view of an investor, I would say yes, what you say is true. And as an investor, all I can do is invest in companies which align with what Gurukulam is saying, that we should keep in mind how a company treats its employees. That is why even TCS, when they had laid off this 12,000 and that news broke, it was rather disconcerting and little sad, considering the brand Tata holds and the values they've been saying they hold for the last 150 years. So it's in the sphere of public debate. I agree with what engineering Gurukulam says. Nature 225 says layoffs are happening not just in service-based companies, in product-based companies too. If not real, why experienced people are not getting interview calls these days? I would say this, shake-up which is happening in AI, it's not only affecting people who are experienced, it is affecting people who are just absolutely new in the employment area. In the US especially, if you see, a lot of Gen Zs are putting up videos, which have been lots of videos on YouTube and articles being published, how it is becoming more and more difficult for fresh college graduates to find a job. They're attending 600, 700 interviews and finding it absolutely impossible to pick up a job. There is a fundamental shift happening, and this happens whenever there's a huge seismic shift in terms of the way human beings work and get work done, and the products we use. This happens during the industrial revolution. It happened during this telecom boom. It happened during information technology boom. Like just 2 days ago, I was sharing with my boomer friends, not boomer, but I'm Gen X or whatever Gen we call ourselves. Within a span of 30 years, we had dial-up internet when I was in school and getting into college. And now AOL has shut down the last dial-up service. So within a span of 30, 35 years, from dial-up internet, we have gone to satellite communication. I do not know what I foresee in the next 30 years when I turn, the ripe old age of 80, 90, how the world will be, because it is very hard to imagine. Of course, there are doomsayers and doom preppers who are saying AI is going to destroy humanity and we'll all be gone in another 5 years. I don't subscribe to that point of view, but it can happen, But that is where we cannot say where this revolution is taking us and transformation is taking us. So we as a society need to figure this one out, and I think we can. If we all work together, we will be able to find solutions. It's always not about profit margin. It's always not about optimization. It is always not about the cheapest. So somewhere along the line, human beings have to realize there's more to life than just making money. So I guess it's very funny that I'm saying this on a value investing channel. Even sadhus like chuckling, they're saying, you sitting talking about not making money, talking about on that or too on an investment channel. What are you doing, Vinod? Yeah, that's true. End of the day, I'm a human being too. Arun Kumar says, IT people holding racing horse tail or tiger tail. In 2026, I started to learn Excel. Then They told you need to master advanced Excel. Then 2 years later, they asked, do you know data analysis? Then after Corona 2021, they asked me, do you know Power IB or SQL? Now they're asking, do you know coding to use AI application resolving data structures in 10 years? Abracadabra. Yes, Aruna, I do understand. At the pace technology is involving, software and IT is evolving, it is very hard to keep up with the tools. You need to upgrade yourselves, and where is it going? And you are right, there is no space for everyone to be sitting on the bandwagon of information technology jobs. Only the best at the best, that true culling will keep happening. Finally, very few vacancies and jobs will be there, which will be very, very specialized, I guess. So best would be to move away from IT and pivot and see what else you can do. Any kind of non-IT related job is maybe where the future is. I don't know, but I would love to know what you guys are doing in the IT sector and try to understand. I do keep telling my cohorts here in my studio, guys, editors, just don't be editors. You have to think of what else can you do, what value add can you bring more than editing, because the way technology is developing, AI is developing, lots and lots of editing is getting chopped and made into easier. Finally, end of the day, I'll just have to look at the phone and say what I need to put upload, and it'll upload. So content creation seems to be where the future is. So if you are creating something, you're making something, then just doing something is maybe where the future is. Because I do believe end of the day human beings will want to see other things made by human beings. I don't think end of the day we'd be just okay consuming everything artificial. Otherwise, we'd all stop watching TV and we'll be just playing games, I guess. Maybe not. Venkata Hari says, business analysts are running prompts to write code in the biggest business thing. Yeah, yes, AI can write code, but who's going to verify the code if it's correct? Yes, if you aren't an expert in something, just don't speak about it. There is no need for you to talk about everything. Again, I'm not saying that AI will not cause headcount to drop in IT, but I'm saying your so-called facts you put justifying it is crazy. Yeah, I agree. I do say, and I read that book, AI Snake Oil book, because of the simple reason there is a latest lot of snake oil being sold as AI. AI is not going to change humanity. That's why I said I don't subscribe to this view that in another 5 years AI will take over humanity and there will be no more human beings left on this planet. In AI will be exploring the whole universe by itself without any life, biological life that is. I don't see that happening because AI has no need to do that. It's like thinking Saturn or Jupiter suddenly will want to see the world and move away from its orbit and go. It's as crazy as that. Okay, I understand what you're saying. End of the day, you will need a human being to do it, and that's what Warren Buffett said way back about AI too. When I was asked, he said, end of the day, you need a human being to ask. So that is a role for human and humanity with AI. It's like a calculator. What that role is still being defined, because a lot of the work is being done, like having a basic calculator, then turning to scientific calculator. You had a basic calculator, but you still had to do trigonometry by yourself. Then calculators did the trigonometry, so you didn't need to do that. So there's parts of it which are being taken away. What will be left is what is the question. Right now, AI is very much in its infancy, and there's so much of hallucination in AI. You just cannot take anything from ChatGPT and say it's fact. It's not. ChatGPT makes a hell of a lot of mistakes in analysis. Even if you give it number crunching, it makes mistakes. Everything has to be checked and verified. But that said, it's as good as a human being then. Because if I have an intern who's sitting and doing data analysis for me, and I have to double check his work and make sure he's doing the right work, the AI does the same thing, which I'm going to be double checking anyway, but I don't have to pay a salary to the AI, is the argument being made here. So, Venkatahari, I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to say I know everything, but I see more and more people using AI. I use AI. I think Sadhu uses AI. Everyone uses AI. So, Venkatahari, I don't think we're experts, but I think we have a point. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you say, Venkatahari. Carrying this conversation forward. Praveen Kumar Balavan says, the problem is the board might think it's getting its company in shape, but the love handle management is too stubborn. TCS wants to fire 12K employees to get rid of the middle layer thin, but I know people who left voluntary are not being included in the headcount. People who are bringing business, the lazy fat middle management hasn't lost any. The company is just getting less attractive to actual tech folks. This is very true. When you set news out like this, that you're sacking 12,000 people, it is very hard to retain the people who are actually doing amazing work, because they will feel, boy, I do not know if I'm going to get sacked. You will feel that it's better that I step out when the going is good. So with, so-called trimming of the fat, you will lose some meat. This is nature, Even if you are the best butcher in the world and you are carving your meat, you lose some meat with the fat. So that is very true. And you may lose a person, who would be the guy who creates the next big ChatGPT, because he decides to drop out of your company and go out and take it on his own. It's happened in Grok just now. Elon Musk, one of his top guys in Grok, just left to start his own venture. This is very true. And I would say it is very hard to retain talent when you're doing this, but it's nature of the beast, as they say. Rajesh 3504, he doesn't have complete knowledge and gives a very glaring information with his half-cooked knowledge. Anand needs to get updated. He's still at the 90s. Fair enough. We are old geezers. We are not young, and in the road, nose on the ground, as they say, watching what is happening at the moment. But as investors is all I always speak as. Me and Anand only talk as investors. We're not talking about starting your own AI company or tech company or getting a tech job or giving a dissertation on how information technology companies run. We are looking at it from the outside and saying, okay, as a value investor, would we look at these stocks? That is where we are. And I'm not saying I'm a have complete competence in all related to information technology. All our information is garnered purely through reading and interacting with people, viewers like you who come and talk to us and meet us. Some of the people Anand meets are from Google and Microsoft, believe it or not. And through those conversations, we come out with our analysis, and sometimes we're wrong. And I don't mind. I've never claimed to have complete knowledge, and I do make glaring errors, and I apologize for those. That's why I say don't invest on what I say. Do your own research and analysis and invest based on that. Definitely don't believe whatever I say to be the word of God. Sundar Vedapuri says, this interview is not good. Well, a little more would have been helpful, Sundar. So if you are up to it, try and maybe use ChatGPT and express yourself a little bit more, and I will be happy to answer it. Wealth for you. Lots of young people are sitting on a time bomb for so long without knowing it. It's exploding now. Black Swan. These experts on YouTube show their expertise after the fact. They are just fools of randomness and have no skin in the game, Taleb would say. Nassim Taleb all over the place. You've used all his book titles and you've put it together. I hope you've read his books though, because his books are really good and gives you a lot of insight. It's not paranoia Nassim Taleb is talking about. It is trying to see opportunities and how to train yourself to see these opportunities. And that is what fooled by randomness and no skin in the game is, because sometimes we live in echo chambers and we don't see what is happening. And this is true for Anand, it's true for me, it's true for everybody. So constantly we have to keep telling ourselves, maybe I'm wrong. And I do try and do that all the time on this channel. So I agree with you. A lot of people are sitting on time bombs. But sometimes, the time bomb seems to be a dud, happens, and doesn't go off. So that is also true. That is also a black swan and fooled by randomness. You always assume that all the landmines are going to go off, and sometimes you happen to step on one which wasn't wired properly, and you're luck and you're survived walking on a landmine. So both are true. Wealth 5 for you. Polaris 07, your view on business analysts is wrong. Please don't talk rubbish. Thank you, Polaris. That was very astute of you. And next time, do let us know what you think a business analyst is and what we said which was wrong. So that way we can all read it and maybe have a discussion about it. Wonderful goes on to say, if you don't know about business analyst role, please keep quiet, don't blabber. I'm a senior and I know many business analysts, not even one person do what you mentioned here. Well, I beg to differ. I also know quite a few business analysts. My brother-in-law himself is one, and he seems to agree with what we said. So leaves it up to question, right? So all colors make the rainbow, they say, don't they? The worst point of view from Srini guys. If you don't have level of details, don't speak about it. After FC Kohli, you jumped directly to AI. In 2000, mishandling, TCS will grow, but not labor employees. Can you speak with pyramid data on median salary hike since 2011? This channel belongs to you. That doesn't mean you speak whatever you can. Right. I'm not diving about how TCS runs its business, or how FC Kohli and all this. This is just bits and pieces of information which we stitch together. But our view is purely on terms of investing. Is it a good company to invest, and will it give me great returns in the future? I don't care what TCS does in terms of its salaries and all what you just said here, and it's famous. I see that you have probably a lot of hatred towards TCS. Maybe you used to work for it and you got laid off, or you applied there and didn't get in. Koki Kumar, but whatever it is, I understand. I have people who I known who are in TCS who got laid off, and they are very upset about it. So I get that, but we are not looking at it purely from that point of view. The question is, should you be buying TCS shares today, or should you be buying Infosys shares today, or buying Wipro shares today? That is the main question we're trying to answer. Basic idea is there's a lot of uncertainty in the IT industry in India, and with all this coupled with tariffs, coupled with AI, all this put together, should you think that right now TCS is a value buy, or Infosys, or Wipro? So trying to see that and trying to read the tea leaves is what we are trying to do. So I hope that that makes it clear. And rest of the comments seem to be positive. So thanks for all the positive comments. These are the ones which you guys really were talking about. Of course, there's one last one, which is Samson Ryan 9604, which says, I agree with something. These companies are not investing in R&D since the promoter holdings are less. Sunk cost fallacy. Even when you can't give a salary hike, no R&D, reduce the salary of the top management. They are not Elon Zuckerberg. When your business model in the long run will be broken, one side AI, the other side GCC, work from home technology proprietary, will make them valid. Then can you invest in blockchain? I don't know. There's a lot of things you're saying here, Samson, but I agree. The fundamental problem is R&D is a must, and this is also true with pharma in India, where Anand and me did a part 2 video about the pharmaceutical companies, and Indian pharma don't really spend a lot on R&D. They pretty much wait for things to expire, or litigate it out and try to make generic drugs off the ones which are making a lot of profit, and try to, after the top farmers eat the cream, try and take some of the stock, whatever is left. That seems to be their business idea and cycle. So that is another thing. Generally speaking, Indian companies don't do too much R&D. R&D always comes later on. This is true in all kinds of economies. Even in Japan, if you take from after World War II, the way they went about building their economy, a lot of the Japanese companies at that point in time were pretty much copying whatever the Americans were doing. R&D came in much later as they matured. Maybe we're going through that cycle too. I don't know. But I'm curious. 2 questions which was asked interesting was Tata Elxsi, which is a software company which is doing design and engineering, which is in that field of software, where their PE is at 47 and the median is at 41. I would still say it's very expensive, Tata Elxsi, 5,000 plus. The other one is Tata Technologies, which is a PE 39, which is in automotive technologies. I would say both of them would be, I would wait and not venture into those. Right now, if you're looking at IT, probably Infosys, Wipro, and TCS is where I should say you should keep your eye on. Would love to know your feedback on this one. And would you look at these IT stocks? As we get into celebrating our Independence Day tomorrow, I will say good evening and enjoy your holiday tomorrow. And Jai Hind. And tomorrow evening, I'll come to conclude our celebrations of Independence Day and wrap that up as we head into the weekend, the long weekend. Thanks for being with me today. I know I kind of meander a little bit when I'm by myself. And I hope I answered your comments to sufficient happiness. If not, please come and comment some more, and I will try and answer them. And nothing else more to say than good evening, and see you tomorrow. Bye.